This is the day America, the United States of America, whatever the you want to call it, has died.
Donald Trump has now been convicted of 34 different felony crimes by a jury of his peers.
Guilty of triggering every one of you worthless liberal Stormy Daniels is a literal porn star, a woman whose only claim to fame is taking disgusting rancid.
The Civil War, this one, will last maybe 15, 20 minutes. Why? Because the other side are nothing but weak, soft, delicate.
The liberal agenda will be dead. There will be no more of this compromise. There will be no more of let's come together and really, really, really try to make everything okay. No. You. After what you've done to Donald Trump, you. This is our country now, not yours. Pack it up, bitches.
As you can see in the streets and in their homes, the MAGA faithful are taking the latest setback with their usual restraint and class. And everybody who inquires about how the Trump supporters are doing gets answers that are welcoming. So now we know the reaction in MAGA world when Donald Trump finally wins a popular vote. How about MAGA lawmakers?
I am both furious and heartbroken at the same time. I'm furious at what we saw, but I'm also heartbroken for the rule of law. I'm heartbroken for our justice system.
This is the most outrageous travesty I've ever seen. And the problem here is Democrats have crossed this line. They have crossed the line in which now the court system is a political weapon. And it's going to be very hard for it not to come back the other way.
What an insult.
And Marco, like these other people, all because they want to cozy up to Donald Trump and maybe be his vice president.
That's it.
They degrade themselves and they slander America.
And they also show they have no integrity, because it wasn't that long ago when Marco Rubio called Donald Trump a third world strongman.
There are many people on the right, in the media, and voters at large that are going to be having to explain and justify how they fell into this trap of supporting Donald Trump.
Speaking of traps, former South Carolina Governor and Trump UN Ambassador Nikki Haley wants to be Donald Trump's 2024 running mate, but she went on record a few months ago with this.
There is no way that the American people are going to vote for a convicted criminal. They're not.
But you said you would.
They're not.
But you said you would.
No, that is not the question. Every Republican nominee signed a pledge.
The Trump conviction not only hits Republicans in the face, it also leaves egg on the heads of conservative media, who declared during the trial that the prosecution had not proven their case.
This is a gut punch. We want to see politicians fight. We don't want to see what they do in third world countries, to have one side start indicting and jailing the other side. This is not American. This is not who we are.
But of course, the left, they will celebrate. They will sing, they will dance, they will high five, gleefully call Trump a convicted felon. Now they're cheering the end of what would be, let's see, equal justice under the law, equal application of our laws. Let me bear no doubt here. This is a sad day for our country.
Wah, wah. Poor Sean Hannity. Now, while Hannity seems to be weepy, Fox host Mark Levin seems to be dangerously close to having a stroke.
We need to give the Supreme Court the opportunity to fix this. Why? We cannot have local acting judges, Soros DAs, 15,000 district attorney's office, God knows how many state judges, destroying our federal election system, influencing how we elect the president of the United States.
Because God forbid Donald Trump should take any responsibility for turning off voters. And Mark, are you okay? Take a few deep breaths. Over on MSNBC, there has been a more thoughtful and rational analysis of the Trump conviction impact. Here is branding and marketing expert Donnie Deutsch.
From here on in, Donald Trump, the ultimate brander, the guy that gave you Little Marco or Lion Ted, is simply branded convicted felon Donald Trump. He's in the most simplistic way from here on in. The other side has the ability to take the great brander and brand him in the most simplistic term, convicted felon. And that's powerful. Yes. And I went on the show the other day and I said, I don't know if it's going to matter that much. When I heard that guilty verdict, it hit me. He simplistically is in a box now. And two other things happened to his brand. Number one, he's not invincible. And I think that armor got pierced, and that's a big deal. If he had been acquitted, you can't get this guy. He's bigger than everybody. He's bigger than life. He's not. He's invincible. And Joe, to your point, we're 8 years into a losing streak for Republicans. He lost. Once again, Donald Trump lost. So he's a loser. He's anything but invincible, and he's branded permanently a convicted felon. That's a big deal.
And even before the Trump verdicts were announced, on Fox News, Republican strategist Karl Rove said the convictions would likely cost Donald Trump several battleground states.
If he is found guilty, let's not underestimate that there is a problem. Think about this. Those numbers are like 11%, less likely to vote for him. Think about Michigan, where they're in the Real Clear Politics average, Donald Trump is up by 0.5%. Or Pennsylvania, where he's up by 2%, or Wisconsin, where he's up by 0.3%. So in a close race like we're likely to have, having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11% of the electorate less likely to vote for you is a problem.
Now, there is always the possibility that the numbers go the other way if moderate and independent voters start to feel sympathy for Donald Trump. And that's why, in my view, the sentencing hearing for Trump in July becomes huge. Not just in terms of Donald Trump's freedom, but in terms of the November election. I believe the best thing for Democrats would be if Trump was given a hefty fine, probation, and not sentenced to jail. A prison sentence of a former president, even one who has been found to be a criminal, could cause a political backlash among independent and moderate voters. And letting Trump keep his freedom will never change the fact that he is a convicted felon. On each of his classy felony charges, Trump could receive up to 4 years in prison, but the judge has discretion to give Trump no jail time based on the fact that Trump was convicted of a nonviolent offense and because he is a first-time criminal offender. Some of you are saying, well, wait a second, what about the lawsuits that he lost? Well, those were in civil court, not criminal court. I can also hear some of you saying, well, Michael Cohen and Alan Weisselberg got jail time. Why not Trump? Well, Trump was convicted only of falsifying business records. Weisselberg and Cohen were convicted on a variety of felonies, including perjury and tax fraud. And in cases where a defendant is convicted of falsifying business records, only about 10% of those defendants in New York actually get prison time. And most of those defendants were convicted on other charges as well. It is possible the judge could sentence Trump to jail, given the various gag order violations in this case, but I wouldn't count on that. Look for Donald Trump to get probation and a fine. And also look for his poll numbers to drop just enough to swing the election to President Biden. Yes, President Joe Biden is old and has lost a step or two, but he is not a threat to democracy, and he is not a convicted felon. Donald Trump is a convicted felon and a loser, and his MAGA maniac followers are melting down. Their misery is epic and a sight to behold. By the way, Fox host Jeanine Pirro, who we showed earlier in this video, keeps reminding all of us why Fox took her show away.
Robert De Niro, you're just too stupid. Keep your mouth shut.
If anybody should keep their mouth shut because of stupidity, it is Jeanine Pirro. And the Fox host proved it in this very segment attacking actor Robert De Niro.
You know, my question for Robert De Niro is, what have you done for New York City, Robert De Niro? What have you done? Is there a building with your name on it? Have you built skyscrapers? Has the skyline of New York changed because of all of your vision?
Actually, it has. Robert De Niro co-founded the Tribeca Film Festival to revitalize and rebuild Lower Manhattan after the area was decimated in the 9/11 attacks. De Niro also helped build the $600 million Wildflower Film Studios in the Queensboro of New York City.
You had to read everything you read to get ahead in life, and now you're reading a script at a Biden-arranged press conference. You're a loser, and I'm not surprised you needed that. And let me say this about the Biden administration. They're bleeding women, minorities, and they bring out this geezer.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Joka6282, who wrote, Pirro, what have you done for New York? Tell lies and promote fascism? I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about the MAGA lunatics going crazy in the wake of the Donald Trump convictions. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.